Hello everyone and welcome to the Architect SuperMod build part 2. In this video we're going to take a look at all of the parts that we have, clean them, and start rebuilding the front suspension and trailing arm setup. Initially I had planned to replace the two front shocks as one of them had a broken mount. But after a bit of tinkering I figured I could simply modify it a little bit so that I can reuse them. I was pretty happy with them because they were surprisingly smooth and their length should be pretty good for what I have in mind. To fix it, I simply used the M4 bolt and I chopped the head off of it. I then clamped the threaded part on the drill and screwed it inside of a regular tie rod end. Now all there is to do is to screw that into a M4 nylon lock nut. Now you take that little assembly, you pass the shock locking ring through it and screw it into the shock body. And there we go, it looks really good. We just saved a little bit of money by reusing these shocks. Money that can be put into better use in other places. Now let's tackle the belly pan. There's a few traces of gooey stuff on there, so a cleanup is in order. I used a little bit of alcohol, but I think some Goo Gone or something similar would work also very well. In order to rebuild the sled, there's a lot of directions I can take. But to get a sense of progress and to see where this build is going, I feel like we should assemble the front suspension to see how everything lands first. Normally that would be a pretty quick reassembly. One could simply go on the Architect website and order the broken parts, but I want something unique. I also like to have my own parts available so I don't have to wait for shipping and pay duties because they do come from the US. So I decided to redraw the front suspension parts as 3D files so I can change them if I break one. Those files are going to be available for the public in the near future. I made them extra chunky so they should be a lot stronger than the original parts. And I gotta say, they look really good once installed. But I feel like it doesn't really match what I had planned in my head for this particular build. And it doesn't help the fact that James had built these very nice looking radius rods out of welded steel. I think they made it look even better, but unfortunately they're bent out of shape and probably a little too small for this particular sled. So I decided I was gonna build my very own set out of stainless steel. To the secret lab. So we're back here at the farm. This is where my welder is. This is an Everlast welder. This is basically what I use. It's a TIG welder. It's gonna be perfect for what we're doing today. So here I have my raw material. These are stainless steel straws and you've got a few different ones. You've got some that have curves in them. I specifically ordered those that are straight and they're almost perfect for what we need. We need to modify them a little bit. So here I have M3 screws. So the goal today is going to be to TIG weld the screws in this to hopefully make a tie rod for a snowmobile A-arms or trailing arm or something like that. So you can also apply this technique for something else like a RC crawler or similar vehicles. But for a snowmobile, I think this is gonna work awesome. I've done a little bit of trial before, so I know it works. I don't know about long-term durability, but I know this works, so we're gonna give it a try. So the first step, as you can see, is to put it in it. The problem is, these have been flared up during their making, which means they're a little bit smaller than we need them to be and the screw doesn't fit. So to enlarge them, we're gonna use this. This is a step bit. Basically you put it in and you screw it until you reach the desired size. So let's give it a try. Okay, so we drilled it up a bit. See if it fits. Oh, it's almost perfect. You see the screw is now inside of it. So let's give it a bit more. See, like that? That's basically perfect. The goal is going to be to flare the material, to melt the material down onto the screw. And I'd rather have it a little bit further in than a little further out, because then otherwise it can go through. This is very thin material. We're gonna put it in a vise and give it a try. Now it's only tacked a little bit. I'm gonna rotate it so I can have better access to it. As you can see, the screw has started to change color, so hopefully that's gonna be something we can take advantage of to have a little bit of a better look. So I'm sure all the welders are cringing right now. I know my tungsten is a little too big for this, and I'm not sure if the gas I'm using is the proper one for stainless, but I don't care. I know it's gonna hold, so let's give it a shot. Keep going. This material is extremely thin, so when you try to TIG it to the screw itself, you really gotta heat the screw a lot more than you have to heat up this material. Otherwise, you're just gonna poke right through. The screw is gonna hold, and also bonus point, it's also pretty straight. So that's gonna work perfectly for what we're doing. We also have quite a bit of discoloration because of the oxidation of the material. That's actually a good touch, I like that, but I think we can do better using the torch. So what we need to do first is remove what's in there. That's gonna make the torch a lot better to make the colors pop a little more. So now let's take the torch and add some colors back to it. So I'm putting it on a drill, and we're just gonna add some heat to it, make it spin so it's uniform. We gain a little bit of blue. If we want, we can also bring the heat a little bit more past it, so it's gonna make a wider gradient. But I think this, once we add the Tyradance to it, is gonna look really good. Normally, you would not have a full-length straw. The best trick I've found to chop these the proper size is to use those twist tools to cut the pipes, like water pipes. You just spin it around and it makes a nice straight cut. And then you can repeat the same process with the step bit, enlarge it, make sure it's the proper width, and then you can put some tie rods ends and it would be the proper length. So I don't have any more screws with me, so I cannot just chop it and put a new one in there. But that's basically what I did. Now let's go back to the house and we're gonna show what it looks like once it's assembled on a snowmobile. So now that we have our part done, all we need to do is get some tie rod ends and screw them on. Now I left the screws on purpose a little bit longer, so you would have to chop them, grind them so it's not pokey, and then you can just screw them on, and yeah, you would end up with a nice little part. You also have the option of using aluminum tie rod ends. Now these I like and I don't. The reason is this ring, this brass ring, sometimes pops off during usage, but it looks really nice all aluminum like this. So if you imagine, I would trim the screw here and it would also look like all in one piece, it would look really good. So for now, I've assembled it with these. These are the Traxxas tie rod ends. This is the part number, TRX 1942, and it looks really good. I really like this look. It's a lot better than it used to be, and I also think it's gonna work really well in the snow. It's not gonna, you know, pack up with snow, and it's just super lightweight too. So what's next? I'm considering making these plastic trailing arms also in stainless steel using the same technique, but that's going to be a lot more difficult. But I did give it a try, and I do have a teaser for you. Oh yeah. That's all you get to see. So thanks for watching, everybody. Sled building season is right around the corner, so we're getting started together on this. This is, again, like I said before, this is a team project, a community project, so get your inputs down there on what you want this snowmobile to be. Personally, I would like to do some sort of hill climb, like a studded track, like a good all-around season snowmobile, so you can take it on the crusty snow in the spring or deep snow in the winter. So yeah, give me some inputs, what you want to see. And also, one last thing before we go, let me know what some options of engines you'd like to see. This is going to be a gasoline engine or a nitro powered engine. So get me your suggestion down below, and the most liked comment is gonna get that option selected. So let's say for this video today, you post this engine, and this engine. So we're gonna take all the options that have been named, they're gonna be in a poll, and in the next video we can vote on what you want. And ultimately, it doesn't matter what kind of engine you want, the most liked one is gonna end up in this. So let me hear your voices. So thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for riding with me.
I want a 2JZ.
It has to fit.